They say there's nothing like the smell of fresh lumber and drywall to make a house feel like a home, but honestly, I wouldn't know. I never got to step inside mine, not really. And I'm still not sure if that makes me the unluckiest guy in Meadowbrook Hills or the only one who saw what was coming. I remember walking through the frame, watching electricians string wires through the bones, picturing where the couch would go, where future kids might scribble on the walls. Hell, I even stood out back imagining how the sunset would look from the deck with a cold beer in hand. But the morning I was supposed to move in, all I found was a crater in the dirt, shattered shards of my plans, and one piece of drywall with my dog's muddy paw print on it, the only proof I'd ever had a dream there. The land had been perfect, tucked just outside the rigid reach of the Meadowbrook Hills HOA, a smug little subdivision where the homes were all beige, and the neighbors seemed to smell blood in the water if you painted your shutters any color brighter than oatmeal. My lot was technically adjacent but not part of their development, which was exactly how I liked it, and I made sure every inch of construction was by the book, permits, inspections, you name it. Steve, my contractor, didn't cut corners. The place still smelled like new paint. 2 weeks after final inspection, I was supposed to move in, maybe grill some steaks for friends on the deck, and finally relax. 5 days before move-in, I got this letter, looked official, but was printed crooked seal, already peeling. It was from Meadowbrook Hills HOA, claiming my derelict, unsafe structure was a blight on the community and would be demolished under emergency remediation, Clause 3.6 of their guidelines. I literally laughed. My house wasn't even under their jurisdiction. But just to be safe, I left a polite but clear voicemail for Karen Bishop, the community enhancement chair, because of course her name was Karen, then emailed my deed survey, building permits, the works. I figured that was it. Next day I showed up to meet the landscaper and found Karen herself, mid-50s pastel suit, wedge heels, strutting around my dirt driveway like she was shooting a commercial, arguing with a guy in a reflective vest next to a bulldozer. I didn't bother hiding the edge in my voice. "Can I help you?" She grinned. "Not the friendly kind. You must be Mr. Miller. We've decided to expedite removal of this eyesore for safety reasons." I stepped between her and the machine. "You're not touching a thing. This is private property. You have zero jurisdiction." She just smirked and waved some records at me. I waved my folder right back, deed permits, all of it. The bulldozer guy hesitated. Karen told him, "Proceed as directed," but he wouldn't budge. So I did what any sane person would do, started filming with my phone. She stormed off, muttering about uncooperative elements. I left shaking, called Steve, my lawyer. The police dispatcher couldn't have cared less, said, "It's a civil matter, sir. File a report if damage occurs." Well, damage did occur. That night I barely slept, cycling through emails and property law forums like a desperate paralegal, set an early alarm just in case. At 6:30 the next morning, I pulled up and nearly ran off the road. My house was gone, bulldozed to wet, muddy rubble, lumber everywhere, shattered windows, insulation smeared like spilled guts, porch light sideways in the mud, still flickering. "Unsafe structure removed by Meadowbrook Hills HOA," set a sign just in case I wasn't angry enough. I started picking through the debris like a crime scene investigator, grabbing whatever I could, like holding on to evidence that this wasn't just a nightmare. The cop finally arrived after my third call and looked at me like I was speaking in tongues. "You got proof this was new?" he asked, glancing at the wreckage. I handed him my paperwork. "Deed permits, inspections." He flipped through it, said, "Problem is Karen Bishop submitted photos to the HOA of an abandoned shack, says you were squatting and trying to claim adverse possession." I couldn't believe it. "Are you high?" This was a brand new house, but the damage was done. Now, I wasn't just a homeowner, I was a squatter with a fake story. That's when my lawyer, Amy Larson, stepped in, sharp, fast-talking, and madder than I was. She said they were playing dirty. She got hold of Karen's evidence from a sympathetic board member. Here's the kicker: they'd attached a new land use map from the city property office showing my lot as part of Meadowbrook Hills, which was impossible. My title was clean. "See the date, 3 months ago," Amy said. So we drove to the county office expecting a bureaucratic mess, but found some slick guy named Todd Brainer. Amy asked for the zoning file. He pulled it up, and sure enough, my parcel was marked Meadowbrook Hills Extension, effective 3 months ago. I felt sick. My title excluded the HOA. post-close update. Todd shrugged. Amy asked, "Who authorized that?" He got cagey, said it was proprietary. When Amy pressed about signatures, he vanished to the back office and never returned. When we finally got the hard copies via a public records request, the inconsistencies were obvious. Mismatched signatures, overlapping dates, and the kicker, the new document was backdated, except they forgot to update the footer template. The phase it referred to didn't even exist yet. It was fraud clear as day. Back at my lot, I installed trail cameras just in case. Amy warned they might come back. She was right. 2 nights later, my camera caught a white SUV at midnight, no plates, hoodie up, flashlights circling the debris. Amy's face went white when she saw the footage. That's Todd's car. So it wasn't just Karen's personal crusade. It was a full-on operation, manufacturing history, erasing my reality. 3 days after we uncovered Todd's fiction, I showed up and found a new chain-link fence padlocked around my own property, signs everywhere, danger, unstable ground. Community enforcement zone, property seized for public safety by Meadowbrook Hills HOA. 2 security guys sat in a sedan, grinning. "You're trespassing," one said. "I own this land," I shouted. "Not according to the directive," he replied, waving a clipboard like the word of God. The sheriff's deputy who showed up looked about 12, just shook his head. "Unless a judge says otherwise, I can't cut their fence. It's civil." That's what they said when they bulldozed my house, I nearly yelled. Then came the flood daily HOA violation notices, fines, threats, $60 a day for unauthorized land use and visual pollution, $700 racked up for daring to exist. Karen even called the news, painting herself as a hero for removing a dangerous ruin attracting crime. I was the villain, now community menace squatter, the guy who built a death trap. That night, a manila envelope got slipped under my apartment door. No return address. Inside a USB drive and a note. "You didn't get this from me." It was security footage from a gas station across from my lot, grainy, but it showed the whole build from dirt lot to finished home, including me in a hard hat. I sent it straight to Amy. "This buries their abandoned shack lie," she said, "but they're not done." And she was right. Next day, I get a certified letter, an invoice from Meadowbrook Hills for $58,000. Community recovery, environmental remediation, emotional damages. If I didn't pay in 30 days, they'd slap a lien and seize assets. I just about choked laughing, then realized they meant it. And that's when I decided I wasn't rolling over. That night, a crash outside woke me up. My truck windshield shattered, liar, keyed across the hood, fresh muddy boot prints leading to the curb. White SUV idling, peeling out. It was Todd. Cops came this time, took it more seriously. But all I had was a growing pile of evidence and a mailbox stuffed with flyers. "Squatter endangers community safety." My driver's license photo right there looked like I'd just confessed to something. Amy showed up, coffee in hand, ready to burn the whole HOA to the ground. "They're not trying to win," she said. "They're trying to make you give up." I wasn't giving up. That night, a hand-delivered summons arrived, mandatory disciplinary hearing at the HOA clubhouse for a non-member. Amy said skip it, but I wanted to see Karen lie to my face. The meeting was a circus. Karen, 5 board members, all smug as could be, sliding a folder across the table. Another $58,000 in damages. That was the last straw. I folded the invoice and told Karen, "See you in court." For the first time, I saw her hesitate. Just for a second, but it was there. Filing the lawsuit was like lighting a long fuse. Amy didn't pull punches. Demolition without consent, trespass, fraud, falsification, harassment, vandalism, unlawful seizure, you name it. The suit was for $440,000 plus injunctions. Karen, Todd, the HOA, their contractor, John Doe's 110, everyone. Amy played hardball. The press called, so I spoke my piece, showed receipts, footage, inspection logs. It felt good for a while. Then the reporter who'd interviewed me, Alex, asked to meet. Turns out a real estate firm, Hillmark Holdings, was bankrolling a redevelopment plan. They wanted my lot off market, above asking price. Now it made sense, the sudden rezoning, the abandoned shack, lie the push to bulldoze anything that didn't fit. Amy dug in harder, found a former city planner willing to testify that Todd had pushed through illegal rezoning at Karen's request. Subpoenaed emails made it clear Lot 48B is our weak link, make it go away. Then out of nowhere, Steve, the contractor, calls, "You're not going to believe this, but I found the GoPro I used to time-lapse the build. Full footage from dirt to finished house. It was a smoking gun." HOA's lawyers tried to settle $80,000 in an NDA. I told them to shove it. Courtroom 12 smelled like old carpet and bad coffee, but the day our case was heard, it was standing room only. Amy opened with the GoPro video frame by frame, my house built from scratch, timestamp, my initials spray painted inside the garage wall. Steve took the stand, backed it up. Amy laid out the zoning maps, the edits, the typos, the cover-up. Then Todd's email. Make it go away. Todd crumbled on the stand, admitted to falsifying records. Karen tried the Community Savior Act, but Amy had proof she stood to make a profit if the lot was cleared for redevelopment. The last witness was the guy who left me the USB, a former HOA member, finally ready to speak. He testified the board rehearsed the abandoned shack story, plotted the demolition. Amy's closing was simple. I did everything by the book. They tore it down, lied, fenced. My land tried to ruin my life. The jury took 4 hours guilty on all counts. $440,000 in damages, personal fines, court-ordered audits. HOA leadership dissolved. Karen referred for criminal charges. Judge called it a grotesque misuse of power, a warning shot to every HOA in America. A year later, I'm standing on a new deck, burger tongs in one hand, cold beer in the other, looking out at my second shot. Smaller house, better neighbors, no fences. I didn't ask for no pastel tyrants. Mike from across the street yells, "Don't burn mine this time." Last week's tasted like justice and charcoal. Justice has a smoky aftertaste. I laugh, flipping his patty. Kids running wild dogs chasing chips, and for the first time in a long time, life feels normal, almost suspiciously so. I took the settlement, rebuilt somewhere new, sold the old lot to a wildlife conservancy. Last I heard, it's becoming a butterfly sanctuary. Karen would hate that. She's still facing charges. Todd flipped so fast his tie was crooked. The HOA's gone assets, liquidated a community trust fund, now helping people who actually need it. Amy, my lawyer, and now basically family, helped me set up a nonprofit home front for homeowners bullied by their HOAs. We hold seminars, offer legal aid, and turns out there's a lot more of us than you'd think. I kept every thank you note. Some nights I read them just to remind myself I didn't give up, so maybe somebody else won't either. Mike clinks his bottle against mine. To building back better without Karens or fences nobody wanted. Sunsets, grill hisses, and I finally feel like I belong right where I am. So let me ask you, if it was your home, your land, what would you have done? Was I right or just stubborn? Drop your thoughts in the comments. I really want to hear what you'd do. Sometimes justice just needs a little company.